Very cool. All right, today I'd like to show you some headstocks that I've worked on through my years. Some of them you may recognize, some of them not, some of them might be new, but my point in doing this video is to enlighten you on what anybody can do with paper, medium as a template, but you can design your own headstocks just by keeping some simple rules, whether they be 6 in line like this one, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 3 left, 3 right. Here's a 3 left, 3 right, but I just wanted to give you guys some inspiration on it is possible. You want to think about a few things, which I'll talk about as we go along, but let me introduce some of these headstocks. Enjoy the video, and hopefully this will inspire you on your build. This is for private custom builds. This isn't by any means for any type of a production in any sense. And that's what I am. I'm a custom builder. I don't mass produce anything. I'll have friends come to me and want a particular design, and it may be something that you recognize that wasn't designed by me. And I'm not showing you this video or these headstocks to let everybody know that I am the creator of everything. Some of these I will, and I may point them out. Some of them, like I say, you will recognize. So anyway, as I go along, I'll repeat some of the inspirations and some of the specifications, generally, on how I came about, these particular looks. Okay, typically these headstocks, this as you can see is the Sandoval.V. And this one happens to be a mini. At one time I made a mini, sort of a 3/4 inch scale that turned out pretty cool. It's just slightly smaller. Let's see, here's the original size. How much smaller is it? Well, it's really not that much smaller, but it is smaller to, this is my regular .V headstock, but it's a little smaller than what I had designed. So that's one particular. This is a 6 in line, and this is for a right-handed guitar. As you can see, the nut approximately goes here, and this would be 6 left. So that's one design. Here's another one that's this is a Dan Electro copy, and I just signed my name on these just because, it's just something that I wanted to do, no big deal. But this is 3 left, 3 right. And one of the things you want to consider when designing a headstock is how the strings will follow suit, across the nut. Let's see if I can give you an example here. Now, if I was to simulate, let's say the 6 strings here, approximately, I'm just guessing, but it could be a little different than this. But let's say these are my 6 strings here. You can see that it's going to cut in. The string is going to cut in a little bit on this particular design, like so. You can see this simulates the string. Let's say this is the nut slot. Then as you move over here, it starts to straighten out a little more. Here there's an angle on the E string, the A string. It straightens out a little bit, approximately, and then over here it kind of gives a little bit more of an angle. And then, likewise in the reverse here with your other strings. So the 2 E's go in, and then it starts to straighten out, and then it flares out a little bit. That's not too bad. You kind of want to. This neck actually goes on not level, but an angle down. It's probably about a 3 to 5 degree angle. But anyway, you want to minimize too much of a radical turn on the string because you'll get friction inside the nut, and then also on the angle down, you get friction. So Dan Electro used aluminum, and I use bone. You can use like a composite of some sort. Brass has been used. Okay, here comes another model. I think we all recognize this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 left. Now this one, for a stock vintage tremolo, and that's another thing, based on the type of bridge that you use, that'll determine what type of neck angle and string angles you can get. Now, on a locking nut, this type of headstock would be good. On a regular vintage style tremolo, like a Fender style, I wouldn't recommend this, although guitars are made that way. But as you can see, we're going to get some really severe angles, not only down, like pitch down, but to the left and to the right, which is just too, to my opinion, it's too severe. So look at that angle, considering simulating where the string slots are. You can see how the angles are, especially as we get towards the E string. I mean, they're getting real heavy, and sometimes the angle is so severe it'll pull the, if you don't cut the nut right, it'll pull the string out of the nut. So, I mean, it looks good and everything, but it's probably more for a non-tremolo, or if you put a lock nut here type system. Here's a long version, 3 left, 3 right. You know, this is more for a non-tremolo. The angle's not too bad on that. That's one design. Here's another design. This was very similar to the design that I put on the Megazone that I sold to a famous guitarist that we all know. And the strings actually lined up pretty straight. You know, I don't know if you can see that, but that was a request that I repositioned the tuner so the strings lie straight in this position with a slight angle. That's okay to hold the string in the nut. And so that's what was done here. The straighter the string and the minimal angles in any form, the better, the less drag you'll have at the nut, and it's better for tuning issues. Lubricate the string nut with oil, and that'll help, especially if you have bone. This is another headstock design that's kind of bizarre, but they work. Here's another one. A little bit of a Fenderish telly type situation. 6 inline. I mean, if you think about it, if you just take this part of the neck and use that as your base, you can pretty much do any kind of a design around the periphery. Here's another design. It's kind of bizarre. It kind of goes up like kind of a Gumby head. And another thing to watch out for is tuners, like the E string here would have a little bit of an angle. The A string would come over and just barely ride by here. You really don't want the strings to hit posts. I'm sure this would have to be modified a little more. We all know this design. Leo Fender was just a super genius. This is a Telecaster design, 6 inline, and if you look at this, it's very close to strings being straight. I don't know if you can see that. My knuckles get in the way. You know, if I showed that to you, I mean, that works out pretty good. Here's a bizarre. This is kind of a big, weird headstock shape. It's kind of like the Sandoval .V, but it doesn't have the hook here. 6 inline, and once again, these are tuners were like run so the strings were positioned so the strings could be straight up and down. This one was inverted. Same thing, tuners in that straight position. Kind of a violin type situation here. Here's one that's kind of unique. Just a little, I mean, this is all the same here on this side, but then you change and put like a hook nose there and just do some curvature changes. Your imagination is just endless. Typical Les Paul, where the strings would line up not hitting the post and being at a slight angle to the right or to the left and down. For non-tremolos, that's great. Here's my style of headstock that I made for a bass. This was a bass design. Here's another guitar design that's just a little different. Once again, these are the same. This is my bass format, and then I came up with a little creative design there. Here's another one. Look at how bizarre that is. You know, it's just more straight angles, but these are in line for tuning reasons. You know, we all know this one. This is your, now this is another one that's for non-tremolo. If you notice that this design was made by a major company, and I don't remember why I built this guitar or who it was for, but you can see how the string angle gets really severe to to the point where if you don't cut that nut right, or if you hit it wrong, or the string will go bang and just pop off and end up over here way off the neck. So locking system is fine, but for a non-tremolo you're okay. Tremolos, forget it, that will not work. The minute you, it may work, but you'll have severe troubles. Here's an inverted headstock. You know, once again, the string alignment, if I went by the nut, see it's angled, somewhat straight, left angle, left, and it just gets really severe. So non-tremolo for that. 12 string, bada beep, bada boom. Kind of different, but you know, we got 6 and 6. And you want to make certain when you're designing these headstocks, look at some of the headstocks on your guitars and use reference points from, for example, from this distance to here and the distance between the tuners. You know what I mean? Just, they're all ballpark. There's your Fender Strat, small headstock. Here's one of mine. And I think this was a Les Paul copy or something similar. This was the design that was used, 6 inline, once again incorporating the string straight across. And this was cut like a Fender, and I used this design cut off a Fender headstock, and this is what you get. There's a well-known guitar player that used to play with Dio that had a guitar that I built that this headstock was used for. Tracy G is his name. I'll give him a plug. He's super cool. This one is bizarre. You know, I mean, I'm just trying to show you that the variances are just incredible. And we all know this design here. This is for a bass. But as you can see, you know, I've got quite a few different models that you can design. And, you know, sky's the limit. Just use your imagination and make them out of paper, a little cardboard. I mean, some of these are just regular paper. But, I mean, the designs are incredible. I mean, there's so much that you can come up with. You know, it's just, it's endless. Just headstock craziness is what happens here, you know. Just knock yourself out and just, you know, do what you got to do in your design. All right, that ends it all. I appreciate all the emails and the support that I'm getting through Patreon and also through the YouTube videos. If you can continue to support my channels, your efforts will allow me to get these videos up and running, and there's more to come. So thank you very much. Have a great day, and we'll get another video up soon. God bless. Thank you.